My last video was a comparison between ToneX and the Boss GT1000 core, and that made me realize something about ToneX, which is obvious on the surface but has deeper implications than I initially thought. And that's the fact that ToneX is infinitely expandable in the amount of amps you can use. Now, that may be true of many other contenders like the Kemper or the Quad Cortex or even some Headrush units, but when you put together the price of ToneX pedal, plus how good it sounds, plus the incredible ecosystem of creators that has sprung around this unit, ToneX starts becoming a very appealing proposition. Oh, and the fact that it's a plugin in your computer is also extremely useful. In this video, I want to talk to you about ToneX expansions. I'll explain the basics to those who are considering buying ToneX or who have it but haven't figured everything out, and give you some recommendations not only about official IK multimedia expansions, but also about independent creators you can buy ToneX Tone models from. But first and foremost, let's listen to a 1-minute demo of the ODS Legends expansion, which we'll be talking about later in the video. All the guitar sounds you'll be hearing are coming from ODS Legends tone models, and all the effects are from ToneX as well. See you in a minute. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe. This is a very small YouTube channel and your help is very important. So if you have a minute and you find this video useful, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot. Alright, back to the video. So what are ToneX expansions exactly? As most of you know, guitar amp modelers are divided in two main categories, which are modelers and what Kemper called profilers, which we have a few different names for depending on the brand. In modeling units, we're usually stuck with whichever amp models the company decided to model, which may be a huge number of them, like in the XFX units, or a smaller number like the Boss GT1000. Furthermore, we're stuck with the specific amp models the company chose to emulate, so if you want to play a digital version of a specific Vox AC30 from a given year and your modeler doesn't include one, you're likely out of luck. Now, it's also important to note that some modeling companies have been doing amazing work at keeping their units updated for many years after release. Line 6 has done a particularly good job in this department by keeping updates going strong in the original Helix units for over a decade after release, which is not only unheard of, but also an incredibly generous and thoughtful strategy to keep their users around. Boss has also kept updates coming to the GT1000 core, which I own and have reviewed on this channel, and in my view, those have been significant updates which have added new amps to the unit, some of them very good, but not as extensive as the Line 6 updates. Either way, both companies have done a good job on this front. When you get a ToneX pedal, it ships with tons of tone models built in, which is the naming convention that IK Multimedia uses for the captures of amplifiers done with ToneX software. Which means that with profiling units, you're never stuck. You can not only use your ToneX software and hardware to capture your real-life amps and turn them into tone models, but you can also access a huge library of tone models made by both IK Multimedia and independent tone model creators. So as you can see, this philosophy of amp capturing is very different from modeling, and both have their pros and cons. There's even units out there today, like the Quad Cortex, which can do both. They include amp models made by Neural DSP, which you can use as if it was a real amp, in the sense that you can edit all the parameters freely and affect the tone in a similar way to the real thing. Or you can use amp captures made by either Neural DSP or independent creators. So as profiling units go, you always have the chance to expand your tones by adding new amps that were captured by either the company themselves via updates to the unit, or in the case of the company having an open market for their units, you can either buy or freely download amps captured by other guitar players. It sounds a bit complicated if you're just starting out in this world, but once you dive in, it's actually simple. So to illustrate what I just said with examples, let's talk about ToneX expansions more in depth. There's 4 ways in which you can expand your ToneX Tone models. 1. You can capture your own amps using the ToneX Modeler app. 2. You can buy official ToneX expansions from the IK Multimedia website. 3. You can download tone models made by independent creators for free from IK Multimedia's ToneNet. And 4. You can buy tone models from independent creators either through the ToneNet or their own websites. When I first purchased ToneX, I caught a promotion and IK Multimedia offered me the ODS Legends expansion for free, which looking backwards was actually pretty cool. And if you remember the demo song from the beginning of this video, that was all recorded with tone models included in ODS Legends. When I was first researching ToneX, I came across comments from multiple YouTube users and even YouTubers themselves saying things to the effect of ToneX's real power is when you use expansions. And I've seen this comment replicated by many people, so I was understandably excited when I realized I got ODS Legends for free. This expansion is easily my favorite set of tone models I've used yet. ODS Legends is a collection of Dumble captures made by IK Multimedia themselves of various Dumble amps they got their hands on for a while. And if for some reason you don't know about Dumble, these are extremely rare amplifiers that are no longer in production and only a few models remain. John Mayer and Joe Bonamassa are 2 of the people who still own them, and IK Multimedia had access to 4 Dumbles for a period while they were in a Nashville studio, so they got to do an expansion for ToneX from these Dumbles. Personally, I don't care about a piece of gear's status or rarity even slightly. I'm more of a stock gear kinda guy, and while I would never overpay to use gear that's considered rare or special, I've used this expansion extensively and I absolutely love these tone models. They sound absolutely brilliant. The Dumble tone models are capable of incredibly big and spacious clean sounds, with lots of headroom, but also searing distorted tones that get up to hard rock territory. I don't think these have a tone that's good for metal, but more because of the EQ curve and the tuning of the amps than lack of drive. The Dumbles have surprising amounts of drive, honestly. So if you're looking to buy one of the official expansions, I would 100% tell you to choose ODS Legends if you're unsure where to start. It's just great and very versatile. There's a lot of other expansions available for purchase on IK Multimedia's website, but unfortunately I haven't tried them myself, so I can't comment on their quality. But from my experience with ToneX Tone models, most of what IK Multimedia does sounds very good. And also, IK Multimedia is currently running a sale for their 30th anniversary celebration, so lots of ToneX expansions, including ODS Legends, are currently at 50% discount. The sale lasts until the end of April, so if you're in the market, make sure to grab it. I want to call your attention to the free market that's been building around ToneX. As I said before, because anyone can capture their own amps, anyone can also sell their captures online, much like the camper ecosystem which has existed for a long time. And this reality has both pros and cons. On the one hand, if you find a creator you like, it's great to be able to buy new amps for your pedal from someone who has a collection of tube amps that may be unavailable to you for either geographic or economic reasons. But the downside is that if creators don't allow potential customers to try some of their captures first, well, you might end up buying some captures you don't like at all, which isn't a great experience. But I guess that can happen with pretty much any product we buy in our daily lives, and amp captures are no exception. One of the main reasons why I started using ToneX when it came out were the captures of a particular creator I want to shout out and recommend, and that's Tone Junkie, fellow YouTuber and guitar player who in my opinion makes incredible captures for ToneX. I've even released a few songs where I recorded all the guitars using tone models from his free pack. If you want to try them out for yourself, you can go to his website and download it for free. A few weeks ago, IK Multimedia released ToneX preset sharing, which means moving forward we will be able to share entire signal chains with ToneX effects on ToneNet and move them into ToneX Pedal. This is great news and means we won't have to build signal chains from scratch each time, and tone model creators will be able to share their exact settings. Now I'll be waiting for IK to allow us to use drive pedal captures as blocks in the effects chain. I personally think this would add an extra layer of usability into the ecosystem. And whenever you find yourself surfing ToneNet in search of a new amp to play, I'll have to warn those of you who are new to ToneX that not all captures in ToneNet are equal. There's a reason why creators like Tone Junkie and others charge for their work, because their captures sound very good. I've downloaded many free tone models from ToneNet, and while some were, actually great, some were unusable, and none of them have been to the same level of ODS Legends or even Tone Junkie's free stuff, for example. So I would advise the ToneX newcomers to temper your expectations when it comes to free captures. You might find some great stuff, but in my experience the best ones are usually behind a paywall. And to anyone who hasn't bought ToneX yet, don't worry, the stock tone models that ship with the pedal are already really great. They'll potentially keep you busy forever. Expanding ToneX is more of a nice bonus than a necessity. I know many of you guys are huge ToneX fans, and so am I. I'll be keeping an eye out for new IK Multimedia releases in the future, and I'm hopeful for a full-sized ToneX pedal board in the upcoming years. Fingers crossed. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. It would help me immensely, and let me know in the comments what your favorite ToneX tone models are. Have you bought any extra content, or are you satisfied with the stock captures? Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.